Hi guys, welcome back to Planet Mithril. My name is Mithril, and today in my Battlefield Basics series I have for you my take on how to get your Rangers of Middle-earth battle ready in no time at all. Rangers are such a cornerstone of Middle-earth mythology, whether they're Dunedain or men from the north or the skilled archers making up the ranks of the Gondorian defenders. The benefit is that they all share a very similar colour palette which can be replicated with ease across your forces. Plenty of naturalistic greens, browns and dark tones which can be blended together to help them disappear in their environment, and another benefit is you can chop and change the position of these colours over your army of rangers to really help them feel unique on the tabletop. I'm working my Ranger off a black undercoat which I've applied with Citadel Corvus Black spray prior to painting. Brush is ready guys, let's get to it. Any exposed face, either with or without the cowl obscuring the bottom half, as well as the fingers poking out from their fingerless gloves, are being base coated using Bugmans Glow. These areas are then being hit with a targeted shade using Reikland Fleshshade. Even though my Ranger only has a small bit of face showing, I still want to catch the detail that is visible, so to do this I'm going to use Cadian Fleshtone and just picking out his nose and brow line, as well as separating out the individual fingers here too. My Ranger's entire cloak and hood now is being base coated using Waaagh Flesh. This will almost certainly need a few thinner coats to get a smooth finish over the black undercoat, given the slight lack of pigmentation in Waaagh Flesh. The cloak is now getting a shade using Athonian Camoshade. Once my shade has dried thoroughly, I'm taking my medium round dry brush and applying a dry brush layer over all the green using Loren Forest. The nature of the dry brush texture combined with the tone of the Loren Forest will help give the cloak a worn, aged, weather-beaten texture which is just perfect. The face mask, upper embroidered section and his fold hanging down from his waist now are all being base coated using Castellan Green. These sections are now all being shaded using Athonian Camoshade, pushing this more into the subtle recesses around the fold in particular. These green sections now have been given a layer using Straken Green. You'll probably need to build this up gradually as the Straken has relatively poor coverage again, but looks super good once built up and dry. You can see how I'm trying to create some movement in the fold with this here, as well as leaving the shade in any recesses and grooves around the upper chest. The main body of the jerkin now, including the upper arm padded sections, are being base coated using Steel Legion Drab, a nice tan leather to break up the more natural tones of the greens and other browns I'll be using shortly. There's some exposed cloth around the elbow creases and down the inner forearm. These parts I'm picking out now using Doombull Brown. The inner cloth now, sitting just under the green fold, has been picked out using Rhinox Hide. Now any straps, the pouches on the front of his jerkin, the boots, bracers and bow are all being given a base coat using Dryad Bark. All these brown and tan sections of the miniature now are being shaded down at the same time using Agrax Earthshade. This just helps save a little bit of time. The main body of the jerkin now is being given a layer using Tallarn Sand, looking to frame the more angular, blocky look of this section, leaving the Agrax Earthshade showing in any material folds, grooves, and the stitching down the front if you can. The creases of the inner sleeve material are being layered up using Tuskgor Fur. With the inner trousers now being very quickly layered up using Doombull Brown. Finally, the remaining leathers, belts, pouches, boots, etc. are being given a quick highlight using Gorthor Brown to make them pop a little bit more against the rest of the model. Seriously, so many browns. The quiver on his back now is being given a base coat using Corvus Black. His sword blade and any spear tips on your ranges now can be base coated using Leadbelcher. In turn, both the quiver, sword blade, or any other weapon metallics are being shaded down using Nuln Oil. Once this is dried, the quiver is getting layered up using Dawnstone. The metallic detailing down the length of the quiver now is being picked out using Leadbelcher. The arrow fletchings are now carefully being picked out using Rakarth Flesh. You can detail these further with pallid witch flesh if you like once this dries. Finally, the sword hilt can be picked out with Balthasar Gold. striking from the shadows, unseen by the naked eye, until they're ready to unleash a deadly volley of arrows into their foes. The range of the Middle-earth are archers unparalleled, and now you can get your forces battle ready in no time at all, whether from Gondor, Arnor, or anywhere else in Middle-earth. All that's left is the base you model up, and for that I recommend you check out my 5-minute bases playlist elsewhere on the channel. Thank you so much all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to make sure you never miss a Mithril upload. And thank you so much to all our patrons. Your support is so greatly appreciated and helps keep us doing what we're doing. Take care guys, and as always, see you in the next video. Bye now.